Most importantly, with using this system, we know exactly what we need to grow to be profitable. This week's gonna be all about some repairs that we couldn't get to this spring and summer. We just didn't have enough time. I'm gonna show you how we get our garden stakes in and keep our beds straight. And we're gonna work on a Coolbot and do some other cool things. So stick around and let's get into it. We're gonna replace some garden stakes here. We use these wooden stakes from Lowe's, just landscaping stakes, construction stakes. But we just pop them in, and that's the secret to keeping our beds straight. When we build the beds, when we plant, that's our point that helps us line everything else up off of that. So they're very important, but they do break down. Like you can see this one, it broke down and it just breaks off in the ground, and it is what it is. But we like the natural look of these as opposed to metal stakes or something like that. These broken ones we can keep using over and over, but did pick up some new ones today because we've got a lot of these that are in need of replacement. They're hard to see, they're easy to step on. They'll come right out of the ground, so it's not ideal, but like I said, it's a very important part of the systems in our garden, so we definitely want them in the ground. I want to emphasize how important the stakes are to the success of the overall garden. Without them, the business in the garden would be chaotic and stressful, but with them, it basically replaces that guesswork with a system that's the same every time. The stakes give us a point to attach our string, which then gives us a straight line that we can work off of. It keeps our beds from creeping into the pathways, and it allows us to plant with basically perfect spacing every time. We know every bed's the same, and we know how much of each crop will fit into each bed. It makes harvesting smoother, it makes planting smoother, and we can tell easily how good or bad a crop has done because we know exactly what we planted. Most importantly, with using this system, we know exactly what we need to grow to be profitable. And ultimately, that's what we have to do to keep farming and be successful. Also, it looks really nice in the garden. It keeps everything in line, symmetrical. It's always looking beautiful. So that's a plus. Each pathway is going to be 18 inches in between, and each bed is going to be 30 inches. So that's how I'm finding my marks. Heavy duty hoe. One of our next big projects for the wintertime is to get the rest of the garden mulched. In this area that I'm working right here, we built these new beds and we never even got around to mulching. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pathways that never even got mulched. So they've been growing weeds, and I'm gonna come through here, rip the weeds out. Then we'll be ready to lay some mulch over here to suppress the weeds, retain moisture, protect the soil. Some other areas, the mulch has been there for a year, so it just needs a replacement. We need to top it off. Another big thing that we want to do with mulch is make an entire border around the garden. We're thinking about 2 feet, maybe 3 feet of a border, just to kind of make the weeds work a little harder to creep in to the garden, so we don't have to deal with the edges of our beds being super full of weeds and that type of thing. We did just get another load of mulch today from a local tree company. The free wood chips are always super helpful, as long as you can verify that not a bunch of trash in it or anything like that. You know, you want them pretty clean, obviously, if they're going into your garden. We're thinking about doing wood chips in our greenhouse, actually, instead of like landscape fabric. We're always in there watering, and the water that misses the plants is just draining into the ground. But if we had wood chips there, we could manage the weeds and at the same time capture that water and have something breaking down. It's always good to have decomposing material on a farm because you can use it in the garden. You can mix it in with other compost. It's got all kind of uses. And we think it would look kind of cool. So I don't know, let us know what you think about that. And that would also be less plastic on the farm, which is always a plus. You're always trying to get away from plastic if you can. Sometime this winter we lost our bolt here that keeps our coupler held together. So we're gonna get this baby tightened up so we're good to go when spring comes around. Rocking and rolling now. Why do we use wood chips? There's a couple reasons here. We'll start with the fact that it suppresses weeds. We want pathways so that we can access everything easily. We don't want them just bare dirt because then it's gonna erode. The weeds are gonna come up and be a problem. So you got a couple different options. You can do living pathways or you can do wood chip mulch like we've decided to do for now. So number one, you're suppressing weeds. Number two, you're gonna retain a lot more moisture, so that's less watering we have to do. That's always a good thing. Number three is it's an organic material. So instead of putting landscape fabric, which would just be more plastic in our garden, we can use a natural material and not harm anything in the garden. The last important one that I wanna mention is that this is gonna break down over time and feed the soil. So just how we're growing cover crops and leaving our roots in the ground in these beds, in this area, we're leaving wood chip mulch that, over the course of 6 months to a year is gonna break down, feed the soil, improve the soil in that area because it's adding organic matter. And then we're gonna come in with another layer on top and keep suppressing those weeds. Really, it's a win-win for us and for the soil.
Our Coolbot has started throwing a EH code. And the EH code is for this heater cable. And we messed with it. We actually got it working a couple times. We ended up reaching out to Coolbot. Kudos on their customer service, by the way. They called us right away. Really appreciate that. They sent another unit out. This is the old one. You see, it's just showing the temperature now, so it's on room. You look at the little heater spot right here. Nothing's flashing, nothing's on. No, it's not gonna do it. It's gonna make a total liar of me. Oh, there we go. Throwing the EH code. When it does that, it doesn't heat the cable. And if it doesn't heat the cable, it can't trick the air conditioning into not cutting off the compressor. Easy fix, especially since it was under warranty. These guys are great. They've been good to work with so far. Actually, this is a Coolbot cooler. The whole thing is. They just started with these little units and they've kind of expanded. I'm going to get the new one put in here and I think our problems will be resolved. We'll see. So with the new unit that they sent us, they actually sent us all new wires as well. Those wires are for room temperature, the temperature of the fins, the heater cable, of course, and the power wire. Take out all the wires. Room, fins, heater cable, and power cable. We just got 2 Phillips screws holding on this little guy. And just like so. So we got the old one off. Basically, the input, that little part right there, has got some type of short inside it, and that's what was actually keeping it from working properly. Okay, we're gonna put on the new one here. The fin sensor, I am gonna use the old cable. The reason I'm doing that is because the end of this thing is shoved into the fins, and they're very fragile. They break easy, right? I don't wanna mess with that. No. We're gonna let that be. Let that ride. Plug that back in, get out new cables for the rest of this. New heater wire. Now again, what that heater wire is doing is tricking this air conditioning sensor right here so that compressor stays running, and this is controlling how far down the temperature gets. Cool little invention, it really was. Now there's two little bumps on these cables. One of them's the heater itself, and the other one is the sensor itself coming from the air conditioning. So you want to line it up to where basically these guys are touching in the right spot where the sensor is located, which is right here. So I'll line that up. See, so it's not lined up perfectly right there, but you do want those sensors very close together. That's something I learned the first time when I did it wrong. And you're just kind of connecting them. I'm just pushing that back up and just kind of back around. Just kind of locking them in place there. You don't want those guys to move. This one's the room temperature sensor. So it looks kind of like a jumbled mess now. I'm going to come back with some zip ties. Just kind of clean it up a little bit. But right now I just want to get everything plugged in, make sure everything's working. It's about to get loud in here. What I'm going to do is go ahead and turn on the AC unit. Get this guy turned down to a temperature where I know it's going to kick on. And see what we're working with. I think we got this guy fixed up. I believe we do. 60. Put it on cool mode. It always starts in energy saver mode. Put it on cool mode. Turn the temperature down. I think we're good. We're gonna call that good. We're gonna call that fixed.
Harvested in the sleet this week. Little ice balls. Let's see if I can catch one. Oh, there's one. What is that called? Sleet? What would you say it's called? Hope you guys enjoyed the video this week. Stay tuned this winter. We're going to be building a lot of stuff. Turkey shelters, chicken shelters. Lots of good stuff coming this winter before we hit the spring. So we'll see you next week.